Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4 on this wet Monday. Welcome back to you, stranger.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Been a couple of weeks, I think, since we've been together.
Right, because you were off
the week before,
and then I was off last week. So my mic is not on. See how quick.
See, she's gone for a week. All this technical.
Now it's on.
All this technical. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. Got to get back in the groove here.
All right, let's get right to it. It's a great day today. Here's what's making news. Brewers and their fans celebrating a big victory over Chicago. Jay Wilson will be here with highlights of that tiebreaker game, and we'll also go live to Chicago with fan reaction from Rose Schmitz.
Got my Brewer Blue.
She's been off for a week.
Yeah, I know. It's a Monday, and it's raining.
Yeah,
There's a new trade deal today between the United States, Mexico, and Canada that is getting praise from all, including Wisconsin dairy farmers.
And Las Vegas takes a moment to mark the anniversary of the shooting on the Strip. That's a little bit later in this newscast.
Let's take a look outside on this Monday. Boy, it rained all day today.
Storms 5 o'clock this morning, and just pouring rain. And this is the result of that. Water everywhere. The weather words, a stormy start to October, that's for sure. Chris Reese is out in the weather patio where it's been raining on and off all day long. Chris is not there yet. There he is.
That's right. It's actually raining out here right now. A little bit of drizzle coming down, but that's right. We've had that rain just about all day long. Some more of that is out there. We have an alert day in our forecast, especially for later on as we go through the evening as some showers and thunderstorms get started. Those will be greater to our south. Here's a live look outside right now. Very foggy here at the station. The temperature 54 degrees right now with rain coming down at the airport. But check out this temperature difference here. You have temperatures that are in the upper 70s, that's across central Illinois, then upper 40s here in parts of Wisconsin. That's where we have a stationary front with the region of low pressure moving along it. That is actually the driving force behind some of this weather that we are going to be seeing as we go through really the rest of the afternoon and evening. We're going to see several rounds of some showers and thunderstorms come on through here. And once they do, they have the potential to bring some high winds and some flooding as well, along with the possibility of some hail. Any tornadoes that should be mainly to our south. Let's go ahead and show you first alert traffic this morning. If you're out and about, here we are. This is I-94 and I-39, and traffic is moving smoothly, but those roads, they are indeed wet out there, and we're going to be preparing for the possibility of wet roads as we go pretty much through the rest of today. And already we are getting the backup started on the belt line. Be looking out for an update on your traffic around 4:45, and of course I'll time out the latest on all the storms here right around 4:25.
All right, so the last thing we need is more rain, but it seems like it's on the way.
Absolutely.
All right, Chris, thank you.
Thank you, Chris. First at 4 today, a big win for the Milwaukee Brewers.
They beat the Cubbies in Chicago to win their first National League Central title since 2011. Sports Director Jay Wilson is here with highlights and what this all means for postseason play.
Did you guys get any work done today?
No.
Read the entire newsroom.
I heard analysis of every pitch. And
From the experts in the newsroom. Yes, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
the Brewers and Cubs played each other for the 20th time this season this afternoon at Wrigley Field, but this by far was the most important game, and the Brewers wanted to win the Central Division and get home field advantage for the National League Division Series. Yes, today's October 1st. It's only the 5th time in history the Brewers have played in the postseason. Yuli Chassin pitched a great game, except for this pitch. Oh, Anthony Rizzo hit a rope against the wind into the right field seats, tied the game at 1 in the bottom of the 5th. But the Brewers rally in the 8th. Lorenzo Cain hit this one right on the screws. Look at the tail on that thing. Orlando Arcia, who had 3 hits, scores 2-1 Brewers. And there are those who say Ryan Braun never gets a clutch hit. Well, take that. Braun's single brings home a big insurance run. It's 3-1 Brewers, and they let Josh Hader close the door. The last out is a little scary, but Rizzo's fly ball isn't nearly as deep as that other one. Keon Broxton makes the catch. The Brewers are the National League Central Division champions with a 3-1 win over the Cubs. Now they wait to host the National League Division Series starting Thursday at Miller Park.
Like the last one was really cool, but this one is that much more meaningful. This was our goal from the beginning of the year. Put ourselves in a position where we weren't in a one-game coin flip type scenario. So this one is really cool. It's really special. Everybody here's contributed, and we've earned it.
So the Brewers' 3-1 win gets them home field advantage in the best-of-5 National League Division Series starting Thursday at Miller Park. We won't know their opponent until tomorrow. The Rockies and Dodgers are breaking the tie in the NL West this afternoon. The loser of that game plays the Cubs at Wrigley in the wild card game tomorrow. Then that winner faces the Brewers in the NLDS. But what the advantage for the Brewers is, they get home field advantage for the next series. Their bullpen will be rested. Everybody will be ready to go, and it's a big win.
This is uncharted territory for a lot of Brewers fans. Like, okay, what do we do?
Yeah,
what do we do next?
And at the start of the year, the Cubs were just killing the Brewers. I mean, they beat them something like 8 out of 10, but ever since. And the Brewers have been 20. The Cubs had a 5-game lead at Labor Day over the Brewers.
For the season.
Yeah, but Milwaukee has gone 20-7 since then.
Wow.
And now this is their 8th in a row today.
And they often fade at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Not this year.
Not this
Not
year.
yet.
Fingers crossed, Jay.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jay. All eyes, of course, as we were just saying, were on the game today as fans came to Chicago from all over Wisconsin to cheer on the Brewers.
Rose Schmidt joins us live from Wrigley Field to tell us what the reaction is like there. Rose?
Yes, well, since the game ended less than an hour ago, we've heard lots of cheers, lots of chanting of "Let's go Brewers." Quite an exciting day for the Brew Crew today, but of course a disappointing one for those Cubs fans. Now, we've heard it described as a sibling rivalry where Milwaukee and Chicago fans respect each other, of course, but they were each hoping for a win today. Brewers fans tell us there's something magical about making it to this point today, but they were not expecting that win.
I am very happy. Everybody's happy. You know, they could have won the division. The Cubs could have won the division weeks ago, and they stayed strong.
Well, it's just amazing that we have this opportunity. It was obviously a spectacular season.
And less than a mile away from Wrigley Field, there's a home away from home for Packers, Badgers fans, and all people from Wisconsin alike. It's a bar called Will's Northwoods Inn. On News 3 at 5, we will introduce you to the general manager. And now there are still hundreds, if not thousands, of people around here. I actually had Brewers fans tell me they were still shaking from that win today. So, of course, quite a happy day for much of Wisconsin.
Truly is. Exciting time at Wrigley. And now, back to Miller Park.
And a fun assignment for you today, Rose.
Thank you, Rose Schmidt, reporting live for us from Chicago. Thank you.
In other news today, family members are grieving after what police say is likely a murder-suicide on Madison's east side on Saturday.
34-year-old Sherry Waller and 39-year-old James Tony Sykes were found dead in a townhouse in the 3100 block of Webb Avenue with gunshot wounds. Our Madeline O'Neill has been following this story for us, joins us now with the latest update from police. Maddie.
Well, today is the first day of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, something Madison Police Chief Mike Koval says has an unfortunate tie-in after this weekend. He says investigations indicate Sykes, who had been dating Waller about a year, shot Waller and then himself. Waller leaves behind 5 children, 2 who Waller's family say were there at the time of the shooting. Koval says Sykes was not allowed to buy a gun legally and has previous domestic crimes.
I would venture a guess that at least 25%, if not more, of every year's annual carnage of reporting homicides are going to find at their root, at their origination point, some connecting crossroads to domestic violence. This is yet another evidence in my mind of that very sad and tragic fact.
Koval is urging the community to do what it can in the fight against domestic violence, and a specialist joined the conference to answer questions and talk about Domestic Abuse Awareness Month today. And tonight at 5 and 6, we'll hear from Waller's family as they share memories of their loved one and an important message they're hoping to get out.
A sad story indeed. Madeline O'Neill live in the News Center. Thank you.
The Trump administration is calling it a big win that will boost the U.S. economy. Just before a midnight deadline, the U.S., Canada, and Mexico reached a new trade deal. Angelica Alvarez has the latest from Washington.
President Trump says the new free trade agreement reached between the United States, Mexico, and Canada is a terrific and historic deal.
This is good for everybody. This is good for Canada, good for Mexico also.
The deal replaces NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement. The USMCA, or United States, Mexico, Canada Agreement, gives American farmers greater access to the Canadian dairy market.
They're going to be treated with respect. They're going to be treated fairly.
It also makes it harder for automakers to build cars cheaply in Mexico by requiring a higher number of parts in cars to be made in areas paying a minimum wage of at least $16. In return, Canada and Mexico will be protected from possible tariffs on automobiles imported into the United States.
It's an agreement that will be profoundly beneficial for our economy, for Canadian families, and for the middle class.
President Trump and his Mexican and Canadian counterparts are expected to sign the $1.2 trillion deal next month. Then it heads to Congress for approval. But if Democrats take back the House in midterm elections, they could impose additional requirements before ratifying any agreement. Even with this deal, the contentious fight over steel and aluminum remains unresolved. Canada did not receive assurances the Trump administration would lift tariffs on those imports. Angelica Alvarez for WISC News 3.
The new trade agreement will come up for review every 6 years to help ensure that all countries are in compliance.
And it's no secret that the dairy market here in Wisconsin has been suffering over the past several years with dairy farmers losing money. It's been a tough business to be in. But with this new trade agreement, many farmers are feeling hopeful that this deal will help the industry. Farmers we spoke with today say they're excited to send more milk products and expand their markets to Canada. Many saying this will help not just farmers, but their families as well.
Everybody's prayers have been answered because milk prices will go up and we'll have more markets for our milk and our families can stay on the farm and do what we love to do.
Many farmers from the U.S. we spoke with are rejoicing over the new agreement, but what do Canadian farmers think? We'll have their perspective coming up tonight on News 3 at 5.
President Trump says he wants a comprehensive FBI investigation into sexual assault allegations against his Supreme Court nominee.
I want it to be comprehensive. I actually think it's a good thing for Judge Kavanaugh. I think it's actually a good thing. Not a bad thing. I think it's a good thing.
The FBI has spoken to one of Kavanaugh's 3 accusers, Deborah Ramirez, who says Kavanaugh exposed himself to her at a party when both attended Yale. Senate Judiciary Democrats sent a letter to FBI Director Christopher Wray requesting all 3 accusers, including Julie Swetnick, be interviewed as part of the investigation.
I don't know what happened to Dr. Ford. I think something did happen to her. But after her testimony, I don't know any more than I did before. He emphatically denied it.
The truth will be uncovered. It must be uncovered before this vote.
The final Senate vote on Kavanaugh's nomination is expected to come near the end of this week after the FBI's report is complete. However, the Senate has already started considering the nomination on the floor.
Well, there's more to come at 4. We are heading to the movies with our resident film critic, Will Loper.
When we come back, he'll tell us what he thinks of the new family-friendly movie, Smallfoot. That's when Live at 4 continues.
Well, today marks the one-year anniversary of the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history.
58 people were killed and hundreds more injured when a gunman opened fire at a country music festival in Las Vegas. Chris Martinez shows us how the victims are being remembered.
As the sun rose over Las Vegas Monday morning, hundreds gathered to remember the victims of the Route 91 Harvest Festival massacre, killed 1 year ago today.
We can't let this define us and let evil win. We must continue to fight. I refuse to let it take one more thing from me.
Organizers released 58 doves, one for each victim killed, when a gunman fired into the audience of 22,000 country music fans from a hotel window on the Vegas Strip. In addition to those killed, more than 800 were injured and thousands remain affected by the tragedy. Many came back here to Las Vegas to mark the grim anniversary. Among them, survivor Cynthia Garcia of California.
It seems like it was just yesterday, to be honest. No one understands the way we feel. You know, the terror that we had that night, the sadness that we have for the 58. It's just overwhelming.
Overwhelming, too, for families of the victims, like Angelica Cervantes. Her son, Eric Silva, was working security that night. He's one of the men and women captured in these portraits, painted to honor the lives lost.
The much pain for me.
That pain, a year later, she says, every bit as strong as on day one. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Las Vegas.
A woman from our area was at the music festival and continues to honor the lives that were lost. Kimberly Wick-Linz is an Edgewood High School graduate who grew up in Mazomanie, and she was at the concert with a group of friends, but she was able to get away safely. A teacher at her school, however, was killed in the shooting. Eric Franke spoke to Kimberly, and he'll share her story tonight on News 3 at 10.
Well, stocks were mostly higher on Wall Street after that new trade agreement with Canada and Mexico was reached. The Dow Industrials added almost 193 points to end the day at 26,651. The NASDAQ Composite Index, however, lost 9, but the S&P 500 added 10.5.
Then I saw it. A mythical creature I had only heard existed in legend. Look at your small foot. Oh my gosh, it's a small foot. Come back.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
No.
I did.
No.
I saw it.
It doesn't exist. You can't this ridiculous story and tell the truth.
I am telling the truth.
That was a clip from Smallfoot, one of the newest movies to be spotted in theaters.
Should you make the journey to the theater to see it? Here to let us know what he thinks is our film critic, Will Loper. Hi, Will.
Hi there. So younger audiences are going to have a blast with Smallfoot. There's plenty of funny antics and a fast-paced story without being weighed down too heavily with its deeper messages of accepting those who are different than us. So Channing Tatum voices Migo, who sees a human, or a Smallfoot as they're known to the village of Yetis, tries to tell everyone of their existence. The chief of the village says Migo is lying, banishes him, so what's a Sasquatch to do but go and find the human to prove he's telling the truth. Of course, this means falling down an entire mountain, getting hit by every rock and tree along the way. In fact, Yetis getting hit in the face by a rock or tree or falling down comprises about 40% of the movie. And, you know, if my theater's any evidence of what kids like seeing, it's a Yeti getting smacked in the face with a tree. So the 90-minute runtime, it goes by nice and quick, and it's not too heavy-handed. It's also not Pixar, but hey, if you need something to keep little ones entertained, Smallfoot will more than do the job.
And what about the adults, too? Is this one of those movies where the humor, the adults will enjoy it as well?
Not so much. You'll be rolling your eyes and groaning, but it does move nice and quickly along. I mean, for me, the 90 minutes felt like a breeze, so that was something to...
That's the price of having children. You have to go through something.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's the rating?
I give this one 3 Yetis from Monsters, Inc. out of 5 for talking about animated movie Yetis. Pixar still wins.
But that's not bad. 3 out of 5?
No, yeah, it's bearable.
All right, there you go. Will Loper, it's bearable.
It's bearable. Put that on the cover.
All right, up next, Night School.
Teaching the conventional way just isn't going to get it done.
Why we in the ring?
What's the square root of 81?
What?
What's the square root of 81?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Square root! What is it?
Oh, God! Oh!
Kevin Hart loses his job he's had since dropping out of high school, and in order to keep his girlfriend thinking he's a success, must go to night school to get his GED. Tiffany Haddish plays his teacher, who seems harsh to the students, but she really just wants them to succeed. So Kevin Hart's character just wants the easy way, so he does everything he can to avoid doing the homework, including trying to steal the test. This movie is about as generic and predictable as it gets. The jokes are more miss than hit, and despite all of Kevin Hart's manic, bottomless energy, nobody should have given this script a pass.
Oh, great cast, though.
Yeah, and Tiffany Haddish, you look at her last year in Girls Trip, she was just the breakout star, and I think she really deserves better than this. She does the best she can with it, but I mean, everyone involved deserves a better script than this.
How many movies does Kevin Hart make? Like once every 2 weeks?
Yes, there's about 6 a year, I think, starring Kevin Hart.
Kind of shows.
Yep.
All right, so what's the rating?
I give this one 2 Tiffany Haddish out of 5. Give her something better, yeah.
The script didn't deserve it.
Skip it.
Skip it altogether. Don't even rent it. All right, up next week.
We got The Star is Born.
Well,
Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga.
Yep, and they're saying stop the presses. Here's our best pick winner of the year.
Wow.
I'm trying to keep my expectations low.
Okay.
So.
All right, well, we'll see you next week.
Looking forward to that. Thanks, Will.
Well, there is new hope now for people paralyzed in accidents. Doctors are literally shocking the nervous system.
When we come back, we'll have more on this groundbreaking new therapy right after today's forecast.
Take a look at this, or these, if you will. You're looking at the most expensive shoes in the world. The Passion Diamond shoe is made of gold, leather, silk, and features 236 diamonds with 2D flawless diamonds of 15 carats each. A jewelry store in Dubai, of course, responsible for these women's size 5.5 Passion Diamonds, but the custom-made shoes will be made in any size once they're paid for. The price, $17 million.
Wow.
For a pair of shoes.
They're beautiful, but they look painful, don't they?
Where would you wear them?
To work.
To work? It is Monday, October 1st. It is World Vegetarian Day, that is. Let's give peas a chance.
You know, I think peas are good, but it's also National Raccoon Appreciation Day. I like to call them trash pandas. Some people consider them a nuisance animal, but they are actually very important to the ecosystem.
They have amazing hands. Have you ever seen?
And they wash their food before.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yes,
and it is CD player today. When's the last time you bought a CD?
1983.
The compact disc was first introduced in 1982 by Sony, and it was sold for $2,200.
My last CD purchase was like a year ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I still buy CDs.
You're going old school.
I know. I like them. I don't know what it is. 6-disc player in the car. Just play your CDs. But
right.
We're going to be rotating through more rounds of thunderstorms as we go through the rest of the evening. I'll have your full forecast coming up.
Oh, look at that. Cloudy.
We've been tracking those showers and thunderstorms since about lunchtime, if not early this morning and last night. And we have another round of showers and thunderstorms starting to move in from the north and west. That's going to be impacting us as we go through the next couple of hours. Some of that heaviest rain right now is across central Wisconsin up near Wausau. All of that's going to be moving towards the south and east as we go through the remainder of the evening here. Let's go ahead and put this into motion and show you where a lot of that activity has been. We had a round of showers and thunderstorms move through the Madison area area twice. And here's the first one that came through right around lunchtime, another one early in the afternoon, and the next one is going to be on the way. But here's the deal. All weekend long, it's been anywhere from about the lakeshore towards Milwaukee, back through Madison, and towards Platteville that's gotten in on a lot of that heaviest rainfall. And they've picked up 2 to 3 inches, and we could be adding to that. So flooding is going to be a potential concern. But the reason we've seen so many rounds of rainfall has been a gradient in temperatures, or that difference between the south and the north. Check this out. 46 in Marshfield right now, 54 here in Madison, 78 as you work your way down towards Peru. And we're going to continue to see that temperature difference as we go through Tuesday as well. Here we are tomorrow afternoon, 87 near St. Louis, 61 for us here in Madison. And there will still be waves of low pressure riding along that stationary front that's essentially been wobbling back and forth. And we're going to continue to see that as we go through the next couple of days. But let's take you through the rest of the evening. Here's that line of showers and thunderstorms coming through right around 5:30. That will bring the potential for some gusty winds and some small hail as that comes on through. Temperatures will drop behind it. We'll also be staying cloudy. We could see an additional inch or so of rain, and with the rain that we've had, that is why we're going to be watching that potential for flooding. In fact, the Weather Prediction Center does have us under a slight risk of excessive rainfall going through the next couple of days. But in terms of the severe threats, when this all gets on through here, we're looking at high winds and localized flooding. Some hail will be possible. We're not too concerned about that threat for tornadoes. But here's the deal. This is not the only rain chance that we will have as we go through the rest of the week. Some additional rain chances are coming our way, and that goes all the way back towards the tropics. Say hello to Rosa. This is historic in the sense that this is a tropical depression that's going to be impacting Arizona. It doesn't even border an ocean there, but we're going to be watching this tropical system work its way on in as a depression throughout the week, and then eventually going up towards Utah there. But this will then impact us, and let's go ahead and show you why. This big dip in the jet stream, we call that a trough, and check out how this then picks up the moisture across the south and then streamlines that over towards Wisconsin. That's because the trajectory there of the jet stream winds are going to be directing that into our part of the country. And so we're going to continue to see more rain chances as we go through the rest of the week. For some reason here, the clicker is not working and allowing me to continue to show you this, so I am going to switch over and do this manually as we continue through the rest of the weather segment. But here we are with that coming on through. Here's the river of moisture showing you how that continues to move on forward there, and you see that moisture really increasing as we go into Wednesday. Track the region of low pressure with me now, coming across the desert southwest and up towards the upper Midwest, and you'll see more and more of those rain chances going through the middle and end of next week, and we could really pick up some hefty rainfall totals. We're looking at anywhere from 1 to 3 inches by the time we get you towards next weekend. So it's not just today that we're watching the rain. We are also going to be watching that rainfall towards next week or next weekend, or well, really that's this weekend. Now that you think about it, I'm ahead of myself. 52 degrees tonight, mostly cloudy with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Then towards tomorrow, we'll finally get a little bit of a break before more showers come back towards Wednesday and again next weekend.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely. It is a very active pattern.
All right, nice tie.
Thank you. I was feeling fall. We're matching.
It's October.
Thanks, Chris.
That's what it is.
Thanks, Chris. For many people, being paralyzed after an accident often means they will never walk again.
But new groundbreaking research taking place at the Mayo Clinic is giving patients some hope that they may be able to walk again.
Jared Shinnick was paralyzed from the waist down after a snowmobile accident in 2013. But 5 years later, he's able to walk again with assistance.
To be able to move my legs and to walk, even to stand, it means a lot. That there's hope for not only me, but other people.
In an experimental procedure, doctors at the Mayo Clinic implanted an electrical stimulation device that zaps his spinal cord below the site of his injury.
We were able to stimulate directly the spinal cord itself, and we believe that that was very important to be able to regain the volitional control or voluntary control.
A month later, Shinnick's first big breakthrough came when he was able to voluntarily move his legs.
felt in awe, and excited.
With vigorous physical therapy, Chinook is now able to walk while balancing with a rolling walker during physical therapy sessions, one time the equivalent length of a football field. His progress is highlighted in a paper published in the journal Nature Medicine.
Over time, we were really excited to see the results and to see that he was able to achieve something more functional.
The research is the latest in the quest to help people with spinal cord injuries gain control and function of paralyzed limbs. Dr. Charla Fisher, who was not part of the study, says the results are encouraging.
I think the results of the study are exciting, and we'll have to wait and see where they go. But I think it does give hope to some patients with spinal cord injury.
In a separate study at the University of Louisville, 4 other paralyzed patients are also testing this approach. 2 of them eventually were able to walk with assistance like Chinook. That study is published in the New England Journal of Medicine. Further research is underway to understand why some patients are responding to the stimulator and how it might help others.
We still have a long way to go before we can optimize this therapy, make it relevant to other patients.
The spinal stimulator isn't a cure. Chinook still can't feel his feet or legs, and when turned off, he can no longer voluntarily move. Chinook credits a woman he met after his accident for giving him the strength to endure his rigorous therapy, which he undergoes several times a week.
The girl that helped me is now my wife, and she pushes me hard.
A young man willing to push the bounds of technology and his body to make big strides toward his goals.
That is remarkable.
It is remarkable what they can do in modern medicine. And Mayo Clinic is just unbelievable.
Yeah, we
Good for
wish him very well.
Yeah, good for him. Well, when we come back, protecting our kids while they're at school is top of a lot of parents' minds.
We'll find out the lengths that some parents are willing to go when Live at 4 continues.
Fears of school shootings have sparked an increased demand for devices to protect children.
Sales of bulletproof backpacks have surged, and major retailers, including Walmart and Office Depot, are putting them on their shelves. Kenneth Craig spoke to a parent who purchased one.
But it's just happening more and more. It's terrifying.
Alarmed by the number of school shootings, Maya Rockefeller sent her son off to first grade with something new, a backpack that doubles as body armor.
This is called the Bullet Safe.
Yeah, the Bullet Safe.
The Bullet Safe panel is a $99 insert that can slide into a backpack. It weighs 1.5 pounds and is made from the same material as a bulletproof vest.
I just wanted something that he could have on him. When I described it to him what it was, I said, this will actually help you if you hold on to it.
Demand for bulletproof backpacks is on the rise. Bullet Safe sales jumped more than 600% since last year. Other companies have reported increases as well. We took the Bullet Safe panel to the Rockland Indoor Shooting and Education Range in New York, where instructor Scott Vignola put it to the test.
We're ready.
As advertised, it stopped a .45 caliber handgun round.
Worked very well, without a doubt.
And a shotgun slug.
It did stop this from penetrating, absolutely.
But it was no match for an AR-15. The round went through the panel and 3 books.
Definitely did not stop this bullet. It's not made to.
We then tested backpack armor from Veterans MFG. It's built to block rifle rounds, but is 3.5 pounds and costs $300. This one not only protected against an AR-15, but also an AK-47.
The actual pain that's equal to what you just got hit with a bullet would be approximately hitting you in the chest with a 5-pound sledgehammer. But you're going to be going home alive.
The one Maya bought isn't rated to stop a high-powered rifle, but...
Sense of comfort there, knowing that he does have some way to protect himself.
Yep.
God forbid something happens.
Yeah.
And she hopes he never has to use it.
Kenneth Craig for WISC News 3.
That's sad in a way.
Just to think that you know, this is here we are.
A kindergartner.
That you even have to think about that.
It is. Well, there's more to come at 4. Charlotte DeLeste is here with this month's top-notch teacher.
We'll meet a teacher at Sauk Prairie High School who is outstanding in his field. That's when Live at 4 continues.
Let's go ahead and show you your latest traffic. Of course, the roads are wet out there. Here's the Beltline at Park Street. For the most part, it's moving right here, but look just to my north here, and you see more brake lights do begin to show up. And we are seeing those slowdowns mainly between about Seminole Highway and over towards John Nolan and beyond. That's where most traffic is moving about 20 miles per hour to 30 miles per hour. Downtown, we're seeing some slowdowns as well. The heaviest is going to be outbound on Washington going towards Sun Prairie. Across the rest of Dane County, things do look good. The interstates are in good shape, but do slow down just because the roads are very, very wet out there. Guys.
All right, Chris, thank you. The iconic flag that flew at the Frying Pan Tower, 34 miles off the North Carolina coast, has been sold on eBay for $10,900. The flag held strong through Hurricane Florence's 100-mile-per-hour winds. The owner of the Frying Pan Tower, it's a bread and breakfast now, said all the money is going to help the victims of Hurricane Florence.
Oh, it's nice.
People are just rooting for that flag.
That's
the
like
whole
an
time.
iconic video
it
now.
Really is.
Yeah.
Well, it might be a little wet and sloppy to be in the fields today, but that doesn't mean the teaching ends.
Charlotte Celeste is here to tell us about our top-notch teacher. Hello.
Hi, Charlotte. Hello, friends. Seed, grow, harvest. Those are the three words used to describe Troy Talford's teaching style. He first plants the seed of leadership in his students. He then helps them grow by giving them the education they need. And finally, he sees the fruits of his labor in the form of his students' successes.
Talford is the agriculture instructor and FFA advisor at Sauk Prairie High School, where he teaches both middle and high schoolers.
Put one hand underneath their belly. You'll lift them up.
Today's class is more like an Ag 101 for middle school students, teaching them how to handle companion animals and eventually livestock.
Our classes used to be training the kids to go home and take over the family farm or work in partnership with the family on the farm. And now we don't have as many students that are on a farm.
In fact, less than 10% of his middle school students come from a farm. So Mr. Talford has many goals: expose them to plant and animal sciences, and ultimately open the door for students to discover potential future careers.
We need people. We need people to replace the farmers. We need people to replace the veterinarians. We need people to replace all these different agricultural jobs that are out there.
Mr. Talford didn't grow up on a farm, but worked on his grandparents' farms, ultimately choosing to pass on his knowledge and passion for the industry to others.
And I tell my kids, I don't care if you're going to go home and take over a farm. I don't care if you're going to go and work as a nutritionist for a feed company. If all you take out of this class is that I have an appreciation for going home and planting my own garden, or taking care of my small animals that I own at home, that's something to me. There's a need, and if I can use my enthusiasm and my energy in a classroom to make that happen,
then we may very well be looking at a future generation here that is going to feed the world and be stewards of the land.
But it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it also takes a village to run an ag program.
Congratulations, Todd. If you know of a top-notch teacher who deserves to be recognized, please nominate them at channel3000.com and click on the Education tab.
Yeah, you often forget about the agricultural aspect of education.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's the world,
It is.
really. Think about it. It starts with, where does our food come from? It just doesn't magically appear on store shelves.
All the jobs that it's going to promote
so
in the
many.
future, too. Plus, you get cool animals in your classroom.
Uh-huh.
That's a
Yeah.
bonus.
Yeah,
Good-
obviously.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Todd.
Charlotte, thank you.
Thank you.
A final check of your weather is coming up.
Well, you're
Chris is back. The rain just keeps coming.
That's right. We're tracking more and more of those showers into the area right now. We have a flash flood warning just to our southwest across parts of Iowa. But once those storms get here, we're looking at the threat for high wind and some small hail mixed in, along with some localized flooding in some spots.
Just in time for the afternoon commute.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you're driving out, just make sure that you give yourself some extra time to limit hydroplaning risk.
Can't get over how dark it is outside right now.
It is
looks
very.
like middle of the night.
All right, Chris, thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Coming up tomorrow here on Live at 4, do you have a stinky car? Does nothing seem to help? Consumer Reports has some easy ways to root out those pesky smells.
And Donna Weihofen will be here with some great recipes using wild rice. That's tomorrow on Live at 4. In today's Final Touch, looks like a